Welcome to Southwest Championship Wrestling. What a great lineup we've got for you today. About 6 great matches. I know you're going to enjoy them all. Some big stars and some big names return to Southwest Championship Wrestling today. So don't go away. The excitement is about to begin. Rick Stewart. Rick, good to have you back.
Well, we've got some of the great stars of pro wrestling on the show today. We've got Bob Duncum returning to Texas, Hacksaw Higgins, and as our special guest commentator today. Some of you may not agree with his philosophy on wrestling, but certainly he's an expert on the sport. Al Madril will join Steve and myself all throughout this next hour of Southwest Wrestling.
Well, he calls you the expert. We'll just see. I know there's a lot of people watching right now that really don't care for Al Madril.
Hey, well, I don't care about them either, and I'll tell you one thing, I don't care about you two either. I'm out here as a guest commentator because the people wanted me to come out here, and that's why I'm here. So I just want to tell everybody about wrestling. I'm going to commentate on the matches because you two together don't know a wrist lock from a wrist watch, and so I've got to come out here and tell these people what it's all about.
Well, you also may be going into the ring, not today, but soon probably against Enrique Vera, Pedro Aguayo, Chicky Starr.
Steve, I've told these people once and once for all, I want some competition. You know, they give me the Enrique Veras and the Pedro Aguayos and the Chicky Stars. I've beat those guys already. I want some tough competition. Why do they have to give me these guys from across the border for? I don't want nothing to do with those guys. I want some tough competition, and I'm not getting it, people. So I'm going to be out here, and maybe I'll check out all these wrestling matches tonight and see who's got the toughest.
Well, Rick, he's going to be here with us all night. We'll be back with that opening match right after. Tempo on Saturday, April the 20th in Lexington. We'll see you on Thursday, April the 18th, and in Burnett on Friday, April the 19th. In Waco, the action of Southwest Championship Wrestling inside the Convention Center on Friday, April the 12th. Here is the lineup. The main event, an Indian strap match. It's the Colonel, Buck Robley, in the ring against the Indian Chief, Wahoo McDaniel. In a no disqualification match, Al Madril will meet Chicky Starr. Mr. Pile Driver, Bob Sweetan against Diamond Timothy Flowers. Lord Humongous, 6'7", 310 pounds will be there. Plus, you'll see Dennis Goulet, the French Canadian, for the first time, and Frankie Lane, and much, much more. Advance tickets on sale at Marcy's Hamburger. That number 799-9992. And the action is Friday, April the 12th, 8 o'clock at the Convention Center in Waco. Al Madril, no disqualifications. You against Chicky Starr.
Steve, do you realize what no disqualification is? Does Chicky Starr realize what? Do the fans realize what it is? That means I can do anything I please. I can bring anything I want in the ring. I might even bring these nice little spurs here and run them right across Chicky Starr's forehead, his arm, his leg. I don't really care. No disqualification. That means, Chicky Starr, you can't cry like a little baby anymore. You're asking for a man's match, and you're going to get it.
Well, I notice you're smiling when you see those spurs.
I like things like that. I like to inflict pain. I sure don't like to receive it, you know. I don't understand what Mr. Blanch is doing. He's gone to great expense to bring this Wahoo McDaniel, the greatest Indian chief, a legend in his own time, in his own type of match, a strap match. I do know what to do with the strap, Wahoo. I do know it will be strapped wrist to wrist, 12-foot leather rawhide, Steve. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to wet my end down, Indian. And I'm going to take that leather strap and I'm going to whip you like you've never been whipped before.
Right now, the bell sounds. It's Dusty Patterson against Chicky Starr, and Chicky is coming out with that belt on, Rick.
Well, he's the new United States junior heavyweight champion. He won that title from Ron Sexton in a very, very tough match, but certainly for him to have that strap back around his waist means a lot to him, Steve.
Well, Al Madril, I know you saw Chicky Starr walk out with the USA junior heavyweight title belt. I think Chicky all the time deserved to be the champion.
Yeah, like you said, he won the belt, but he, I'm sure, stole the belt. He's a typical type Mexican wrestler. That's what they like to do. They like to steal a lot of things, and that's exactly what he did. He stole that belt from Ron Sexton.
Well, it's Al Madril, and Rick, I know we got to be patient because he's going to be here with us for this hour as we watch Dusty Patterson with that armbar on Chicky Starr.
Well, of course, Chicky Starr and Al Madril have had their differences in the past. You got to hand it to Chicky Starr, though, Steve. He's going in against a guy that's certainly not a junior heavyweight in Dusty Patterson, but that's the kind of guy Chicky Starr is. You know, he's not afraid to get in the ring with anybody, no matter what the weight advantage is.
Well, Patterson holding on from in behind, has that wrist locked right around the nose. Maybe smothering. That's very close to smothering on that nose.
Wouldn't be surprising at all, but Chicky Starr, of course, he's got such a great command of scientific wrestling. You got to, there he goes right there. Start with a couple of short elbows that back Dusty Patterson up. You can see a lot of power in Chicky Starr.
Chicky Starr backs off. The referee is George Stevens. Dusty Patterson makes his home in Sweetwater, Texas. Armbar, left arm. A lot of pressure on the shoulder.
We've got to see a little strategy here now out of Dusty Patterson. I know it's been said, wait a minute, Chicky Starr taking that arm lock, using it to his own advantage. A good kip up over Dusty Patterson. Right now, I don't think Dusty knows quite what to make of it.
He's holding that back as he comes out of that corner as Chicky Starr makes some exciting moves in the ring.
Chicky Starr hasn't made an exciting move in his whole life. I would like to wrestle this man again so I can show him in front of all these people that are listening and watching right now that he's nothing. He's been beat so many times. I beat him so many times. It's incredible. That's why they brought all these Mexican stars from across the border. Why don't you say something about that, Rick? It's true, isn't it?
Well, the competition here, sir, no matter where they come from across the United States or in foreign countries, I think you'll find in the next couple of weeks is going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I'll tell you what. You put these guys against me. Now, let's watch a move here that Chicky's going to make. Let's see how great he is here.
Well, you're listening to Al Madril as Dusty Patterson.
Wasn't that a great move?
You like that. I was just going to say that.
Great move that was. He tripped the guy. He tripped Chicky's leg. And down he went. And, of course, Chicky's crying, saying that he pulled his hair.
You didn't see the hair pulling. That's the way we're going to have to look at Al Madril, I can tell. There goes Chicky down again, worked away from us. So it may have been another hair pulling, Rick.
Well, some of the fans at ringside are certainly complaining about it. Chicky Starr keeps his composure. He goes right to a beautiful leg lock up around the upper chin area of Dusty Patterson.
And you see what he's doing? He's crying to the referee. And what is George Stevens? He's a Mexican. So there's a Mexican referee. Now, how can that be partial? How can that be partial?
Well, let me say this. I noticed one difference. When you walked out here, everybody booed. When Chicky Starr walked out here, everybody cheered.
Wait a minute, Steve. I don't even want to talk to you. That won't.
Well, certainly Mr. Madril has got the general drift of where the fans think he stands when he made his appearance today on Southwest Wrestling. Later this hour, you're going to be seeing a lot of great matches, including stars like Rick Gibson. Pat Rose is here. The Maoris, of course, the Southwest Tag Team Champions, and many, many more. Plus, we'll be telling you about some great stars that even now, promoter Joe Blanchard is bringing on their way to the Southwest area.
I want to mention now, one quickly, as we watch Chicky try to get out of this, he does with an elbow. All the fans in the Golden Triangle area, Port Arthur and Beaumont, in Orange, Texas. One of the great black professional athletes in professional wrestling is coming back to that area, and let's tell him who it is.
Right now, Tiger Conway Jr. is under contract and on his way back for Southwest Championship Wrestling. One of the greats. Tiger was here a couple of years ago when I was here, and it'll be a big pleasure for me, I know, and for all the fans at home to get a chance to see this phenomenal athlete once again here on Southwest Wrestling.
Dusty Patterson tries to pull that arm out of that shoulder. Now Chicky reverses it, comes up with a twist in that arm as the referee George Stevens checks it all out, makes sure it's okay, as Chicky really has the arm locked tight, and then he throws that elbow.
It meant so much to Chicky Starr when he lost the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship, Steve. He's been kind of under a cloud ever since. He had to prove to him, not only to himself, but to the fans, that, of course, that he could hold a major title like the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship. And now that he's got it back around his waist, and we're seeing a little more confidence, a little more self-poise in Chicky Starr. And, of course, as Dusty Patterson's been finding out, this man can go with the best of them, especially if you choose to go with the scientific method.
Chicky Starr with a headlock. Patterson picks him up, but Chicky holds on, and Chicky goes with the flow, and Chicky comes up with the headlock as he has Patterson down on the mat.
Referee George Stevens closely checking. Patterson rolls him over in a small package. Probably, we couldn't see it from our angle, but since the referee disallowed the pin, I'd say he might have had control of the tights.
Now he has the shoulders of Chicky Starr down. He was holding the tights.
Of course, the referee right in on the action, and no matter Mr. Madril's opinion of the officials here at Southwest Wrestling, referee George Stevens doing an excellent job controlling the action, especially for two men who are this close to the ropes.
Oh, sure, yeah, but whose side has he been sided on all night long? Chicky Starr, because those type of guys, they stick together. And I don't go for that. Next time I get in the ring, I don't want that George Stevens as my referee, and I'm going to talk to Joe Blanchard, the promotion, about that.
Now it's Al Madril. Now he's complaining about...
Okay, now there's right. Now you tell me that's fair? He's hitting him with a closed fist. So what does the other man have to do? He's got to fight fire with fire. Now there's proof right there to all these fans.
Well, Dusty Patterson comes out kicking out of that corner. Chicky Starr gets an elbow to the top of the head. Chicky whips him into the ropes. Drops down over the top. Went Dusty. Here they come. Oh, cross body block. Patterson's down, and he gets him. 1, 2, 3. It's all over.
And a big win for the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion Chicky Starr today here on TV. You know he's got to be proud with a win like a man over Dusty Patterson.
Madril is furious. He got by the trunk.
See how the guy by the trunk.
Stay tuned, because we'll be back with another exciting match right after this. looking at the big cowboy Texan from Austin, Texas. This is Bobby Duncum.
Certainly he's got an international reputation, and I know that Mr. Madril is looking a little eager in the corner to say a little something about Bob Duncum.
You're right. I'm going to say a lot about Bob Duncum. Now, here's a man, to me, is a real, true Texan. You see that good wrestling he's doing out there? He's not like the Rick Caseys and all these other guys who claim to be Texans. Bobby Duncum is a tough, big man. And look at this little kid. He's wrestling here. Reminds me of a lot like Manuel Villalobos.
Well, this man, his name is Johnny Rogers. Makes his home in Dallas, Texas, 240 pounds. And I'll tell you what, I'd hate to make my first appearance on Southwest Championship Wrestling like Johnny Rogers is and have to go against 295-pound Bobby Duncum.
Well, you know he's got to be a fine athlete or he'd never be signed to compete on Southwest Wrestling. But still, against a legend and especially a mountain of a man like Bob Duncum, Johnny Rogers is in for a tough test. And Duncum has been, well, exactly what his reputation has built him up to be. Kind of a non-stop machine inside the ring thus far against Johnny Rogers. Rogers scored with a right hand, goes for the side headlock. I know he's got the veteran Duncum at a disadvantage. But there's the thing, the mark of the veteran right there. Bob Duncum was ready and set for Johnny Rogers.
Well, Duncum laid that knee upside the head, and that's a big knee. You look at that Duncum, what size? Bobby Duncum's a world traveler. He's been traveling all over the world. Really a big name in Japan. He's been to South Africa, all over. Bobby Duncum, it's good to have him back on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Well, it seems that the super heavyweights are making their way right now to the Southwest, Steve. A couple of minutes from now, we'll be seeing a young man by the name of Hacksaw Higgins, who carries with him a tremendous international reputation. It ought to be interesting to see how well he fares today on Southwest Wrestling.
Right now, it's Bobby Duncum pulling Johnny Rogers out of that corner, throwing him down. Rogers is holding the back. The referee is Todd Johnson here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Rick Stewart and Steve Stack at ringside, along with Al Madril.
And, of course, the comments of Mr. Madril shouldn't be taken as Steve, in my own opinion. And of course, he's entitled to voice whatever he thinks about this match. Duncum is certainly in control, a rear chinlock on Johnny Rogers, and Rogers manages to come out with an arm drag. It temporarily stuns the big Texan.
Well, let me tell you something, Al Madril. During the last break, people were all asking, why do you even talk to Al Madril? He's turned against his own people. They don't like you.
No, see, you misunderstand these people. I'm talking about my Chicano friends. Now, they love me. When I come to the arenas, they scream and holler for me. They love me. Now, I'm talking about the Mexicans who didn't stay here and fight. You remember the Alamo? They all went back. But us Chicanos, we stayed here, and that's what I'm fighting for. You understand that, Steve Pack? Get out here.
Rick, I believe I interpret the way the people yelled Al Madril. I never heard anybody yell for him. Have you?
A boo and a cheer are pretty easy to differentiate.
Every time I come to the ring, they show me I'm number one. They put that number one finger in the air, and they show me I'm number one.
I have absolutely no comment to make, except that in the ring right now, we're watching Bob Duncum in against Johnny Rogers. And although Johnny Rogers has held his own, the big Texan is really starting to wear him down. But Rogers' game, he's fighting back for everything he's worth. He knows what a win on Southwest Wrestling means to him, not only here in the great state of Texas, but all across the country, because every promoter in the country is watching Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Nice drop back there by Bob Duncum on Johnny Rogers. Duncum reaches down, grabs the hair, pulls Johnny Rogers up. There's that knee up to the side of the head. That puts Johnny Rogers right back to the mat.
You know, the amazing thing about Bob Duncum is no matter what his tactics are in the ring, you can't deny the fact that the man can wrestle. He's an exceptional athlete all throughout college and high school, winning many state honors all throughout his career as an amateur. And when he switched to the professional ranks from pro football, he had very little trouble adjusting to the pro style. He's been one of the major stars of this sport for the last 7 or 8 years.
Holds on to the head of Johnny Rogers. Duncum takes him, slams his head into the turnbuckle, and Rogers just comes back, and down he goes, holding that head. Well, the young man, Johnny Rogers, is getting a lesson from Bob Duncum. I know you're smiling.
Remember the lesson I gave Manuel Villalobos? Well, this is the same thing for this young kid here. It's all over now, Steve. It's all over now.
What a bulldog. Duncum comes down at 295 pounds, and there's no way that Johnny Rogers is going to get up.
Throughout the years, every time Bob Duncum has applied the Bulldog headlock, it's meant a win for him, especially when he gets it on just the way he likes it.
Well, Bob Duncum with the Bulldog, the winner here on Southwest Championship Wrestling over Johnny Rogers, and we're going to come up with a tag team match with the Maoris. Be out in a moment, Rick. But we're going to try to get Bobby Duncum up here for just a moment. And Al Madril is going to stay here as we get Duncum making his way up. Don't go away because there's a lot of matches yet to go here on Southwest Wrestling. We want to invite all you fans out to the arenas when we come live.
Well, certainly the most exciting part of professional wrestling is live at the matches. And joining us now, a man who certainly lived up to his reputation today, Cowboy Bob Duncum, is back in the state of Texas.
There's this Taco Bandit here behind me, boy. Go find your place to hide. You know, I've been on the world tour in Japan, brother, Hong Kong, Tokyo, you understand, South Africa. And I'm rolling back into the big old state of Texas, brother. Looking at my hands on old Big Brody. And little old Rick Casey running over the big old mountain. His old jaws dragging the floor, you understand. Let me tell you something, partner. I'm going to ease in old Texas town. I'm going to rip this whole home state of mine apart. I'm going to leave all of them laying on their knees, begging for mercy, and I'm going to give them no mercy, you understand?
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Duncum, I believe it.
Well, after we saw in Southwest Wrestling, certainly, although Bob Duncan's got a lot to say for himself, he can back up almost all he says inside the ring.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll be back with a tag team match. Here's the Maoris from New Zealand. They're the Southwest Tag Team Champions with their manager, the Ninja Warrior, going against the Rookie of the Year, Manuel Villalobos, and the ever-tough Kenny Anderson. Rick?
Of course, this is the non-title match today on television. The referee is Travis Martin. And it's interesting to note, of course, the presence, as always, in the corner of the Maoris, the Ninja Warrior today at ringside.
Yeah, but you know why the Ninja Warrior's there? He's protecting his Maoris. Because, you know, the other side, they got all these guys running in like Rick Casey and Rick Gibson. So you've got to have a third guy in the Maoris corner. I don't blame them at all. You can't trust these other guys.
Now, from time to time, Mr. Madril, a lot of the fans in the arenas have told me that it's not beyond the Ninja Warrior to get in the ring himself and maybe try to shift the advantage to his tag team.
You must misunderstand a lot of things here.
Look at this Rookie of the Year, Manuel Villalobos. Some nice moves, and there he goes down from the hair pulling from Tanui. The Maori now tags out, and in comes Wakahi.
Hey, I don't want to tell you nothing against Manuel Villalobos. He's a young kid and, you know, Rookie of the Year or whatever. But when you get in there with the likes of the Maoris, I don't care how tough you think you are, these guys together are one of the greatest tag teams I've ever seen.
You're listening to the voice of Al Madril, who is here with us as a special guest commentator, and he's watching the matches.
And, of course, you're watching some of the most exciting matches in pro wrestling on Southwest Wrestling. Certainly, Manuel Villalobos has shown us some of the tremendous style that made him the Rookie of the Year not so very long ago. He's in a difficult situation against the Maoris. A good reversal of that armbar. He tags Ken Anderson. And a little teamwork here between Anderson and Villalobos. But they didn't get to be the Southwest Tag Team Champions for nothing. The Maoris are certainly a very potent combination, Steve.
Well, here comes the tag. Tanui tags in now. Wakahi holds. Kenny Anderson keeps coming back. We've seen Anderson in some tough fights, but he keeps coming back. And that's the way Manuel Villalobos is. You know what Madril did to Villalobos and things that happened here, but the young man just has the determination and keeps coming back and wants to win.
Well, in professional sports, you know, many times you hear athletes talking about heart. And when it boils down to it, that's what it's all about. And certainly this young Manuel Villalobos has got a lot of it. Ken Anderson now finding himself on the receiving end of the Maoris. And I've noticed in the last couple of weeks that the Maoris really take advantage of their corner situation. You know, the rules are that they get, they've got 4 seconds to break. On the 5th second, they're disqualified. And the Maoris will take 4.5 seconds almost every time they tag.
Travis Martin, the referee, checks things out to make sure he's satisfied with the way things are going. You know, this to me, that's illegal, but they do have a 5-count break, so they know they can get by with it.
And a lot of times they will stick some extra-legal maneuvers. Now Anderson firing back. He knows he's in trouble. He knows he's got to get to his corner and tag Manuel Villalobos.
I'll tell you what, you know, this is a mismatch if I've ever seen one. Why doesn't Rick Casey and Rick Gibson sign a contract against the Maoris and get in there? Of course, they won't do it. You know why? Because they'll go down just like the rest of them. The Maoris are the greatest tag team around here.
I don't see your name on the contract to wrestle tonight. Why doesn't Al Madril? I mean...
Hey, Steve, now you got to understand this. You know, I'm a very busy man. You know, you were even lucky to have me down here to do some commentating with you. I was busy going out of town, you know, but I said, you know, you guys, the money you're paying me to stay here, that's why I came down here for. With that big money that I get coming down for TV.
Well, we're certainly flattered that Mr. Madril will take time out from his busy schedule to be with us. Right now, Manuel Villalobos certainly with the advantage on the Maoris. A couple of flying maneuvers and a good knee, and Manuel Villalobos has turned this match around. A little bit of hair from the Maoris.
Well, that made the Maori Tanui tag out, and in comes Walker.
Why don't you guys ever have anything good to say about the Maoris or the Bobby Duncums or guys like that? Why don't you ever say anything good about us? It's always putting us down like we're such bad guys when we wrestle just as good as those other guys.
Nobody has put anybody down, not even you, though you may deserve to be put down for your actions.
Well, now, nobody's denying that the Maoris are great wrestlers. They didn't get to be the Southwest Tag Team Champions by accident or because they were not good wrestlers. It's just some of the mannerisms and some of the tactics they use in the ring from time to time that are open to question.
You said exactly what it is, Rick. They are the champions. Nobody has beat them, and nobody's going to beat them. They're going to stay the champions forever.
Well, it's Tanui grabbing Manuel Villalobos and bouncing him off the ropes.
Now, wasn't that a beautiful move? Why don't you say that? What a beautiful move that was.
I was just fixing to say that was a nice move by Tanui as he knocked him down with the elbow.
But it was all legal, right? So we wrestle legal, not like Manuel Villalobos. He starts pulling hair, he starts punching, and that's not wrestling.
Front face lock. Tanui holds on.
And certainly somewhere along the line, the Ninja Warrior has incorporated some scientific aspects of the sport into his team, the Maoris. How much he was able to break through the language barrier and certainly the cultural barrier that the Maoris live under, and how much sunk in of his training, you never can tell.
Well, these ninjas are tough. I'm sure most of the people around for years didn't know what a ninja was, but there's been so many movies and series on the ninjas, and they are very tough warriors.
But of course, an ancient Japanese society, almost really a religion. The Society of the Ninjas, they're known for their stealth abilities, and certainly the Ninja Warrior is known for some of the sneaky things that he pulls around the ring.
Slams ahead of Villalobos into the knee of the other Maori outside the ring, who is now tagged in. That's Tanui. You're watching Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Anderson tried to duck away from that drop kick, but the force of the power of the Maoris just literally collided on his chest as he slinked to the mat. The Maoris still completely in control of this match, tagging in, tagging out, of course, all the basic aspects of tag team wrestling, and you can see from the look on their face that they think they have this Ken Anderson in a very serious situation.
Well, Travis Martin counting Anderson back in. Walker, he has him. What's he going to do with him? Knocks him down with a forearm, puts the boots to him.
And now the Maori, setting his man a fireman's carry, drives back into that suplex that has become so well known with the Maoris. Kenny Anderson having all of his vertebrae jammed against the mat, plus the 250 or 60 odd pounds of the Maori coming in behind him. A good attack from his partner, a lateral press. And honestly, Steve, I don't think Ken Anderson knows quite where he is inside the ring right now.
Going for a suplex. It's Tanui bouncing off the rope, really puts him down. Let's see if he pins him this time. Villalobos kicks him off again. Now here comes Walkie.
And of course, Manuel Villalobos knows his partner is in trouble. Referee Travis Martin keeping a close watch on the action as he can.
Watch this right here.
Now they've got 4 seconds. This maneuver become the trademark of the Maoris. And, Ken, I don't see how anybody could get up after a blow like that, Steve.
Villalobos is coming in, but he's got to
that wasn't a great, no great move there. It was perfectly legal. Well, everything they do is perfectly legal, and they're the winners.
The Maoris winning here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Stay tuned, because we'll be back with Hacksaw Higgins right after this. Corner takes on Sal Oliveras here on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Well, Steve, for the last 2 weeks, Silky Slim Johnson has brought 2 incredibly large individuals out here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Of course, the Lord Humongous, who made a tremendous impression on fans and actually will be wrestling live on television next week. And now we see a 295-pound wrestler in the person of Hacksaw Higgins, who, as Mr. Madril well knows, brings with him a tremendous reputation. As a matter of fact, he just got off a 6-week tour of the Orient.
I'll tell you what, I love Southwest Wrestling because they bring the biggest and the greatest wrestling stars all over the world. He are the toughest wrestlers ever. Now look at that, picking up that man like nothing. You see what I'm talking about?
Now look at Sal Oliveras with a drop kick. Whoa, did he throw him up?
Wow, but did you see that move? He did it behind his back, Steve Stack. Why didn't he do it in front of him like a man should? No, of course not. That wouldn't happen. What's his last name? Oliveras says it all.
He certainly caught Hacksaw Higgins by surprise, and I think all he did was manage to enrage the big man. He's gone right straight after Sal Oliveras. A beautiful high suplex. He must have been 6 or 7 feet up in the air, Steve.
Oh, he liked to put the lights out in the top of the TV studio here. Hacksaw Higgins. My first look at him, he is impressive.
A double underhip suplex, and now a high leg drop on Sal Oliveras. This man is certainly taking complete control of the match thus far.
Here with us from Mobile Hi-Fi's, Joe Calvi.
That's right. He's taking complete control of the match, and, you know, we take complete control when it comes to giving away good stereos at all these great matches. April 13th, we're going to be out there at the arena because Southwest Championship Wrestling is going to be there, and Mobile Hi-Fi is going to have some great stereos to give away.
Well, thank you very much, Joe Calvi. Oh, there's the bell. That was a quick victory in the ring. Hacksaw Higgins.
And, of course, his debut along with Silky Slim Johnson's an impressive one to say the least, Steve.
There it is. Hacksaw Higgins, all 295 pounds of him, the winner here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Stay tuned because it's Rick Gibson. 20th in Lexington. We'll see on Thursday, April the 18th, and in Burnett on Friday, April the 19th. In Waco, the action of Southwest Championship Wrestling inside the Convention Center on Friday, April the 12th. Here is the lineup. The main event, an Indian strap match. It's the Colonel, Buck Robley, in the ring against the Indian Chief, Wahoo McDaniel. In a no disqualification match, Al Madril will meet Chicky Starr. Mr. Pile Driver, Bob Sweetan against Diamond Timothy Flowers. Lord Humongous, 6'7", 310 pounds will be there. Plus, you'll see Dennis Goulet, the French-Canadian, for the first time, and Frankie Lane, and much, much more. Advanced tickets on sale at Marcy's Hamburger. That number 799-9992. And the action is Friday, April the 12th, 8 o'clock at the Convention Center in Waco. Al Madril, no disqualifications, you against Chicky Starr.
Steve, do you realize what no disqualification is? Does Chicky Starr realize what? Do the fans realize what it is? That means I can do anything I please. I can bring anything I want in the ring. I might even bring these nice little spurs here and run them right across Chicky Starr's forehead, his arm, his leg. I don't really care. No disqualification. That means, Chicky Starr, you can't cry like a little baby anymore. You're asking for a man's match, and you're going to get it.
Well, I notice you're smiling when you see those spurs.
I like things like that. I like to inflict pain. I sure don't like to receive it, you know. I don't understand what Mr. Blanchard's doing. He's gone to great expense to bring this Wahoo McDaniel, the greatest Indian chief, a legend in his own time, in his own type of match, a strap match. I do know what to do with the strap, Wahoo. I do know it will be strapped wrist to wrist, 12-foot leather rawhide, Steve. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to wet my end down, Indian. And I'm going to take that leather strap and I'm going to whip you like you've never been whipped before.
Two of the fastest rising up-and-coming stars, Rick Gibson and Pat Rose, and Rose slaps Gibson open-handed across the face, and out. They made a mistake in the temper of Rick Gibson up.
Here comes Gibson catching Rose, knocking him down. Gibson comes over, grabs him by the hair.
Hair, right. And you said that exactly right.
Fix him
by
up
the
in
hair. Right.
Al Madril, our special guest commentator.
That's right, Steve. You probably got a main event match here in the ring right now. Well, I'm going to put my money not on Ricky Gibson. That's for sure. Rose all the way.
Rick Gibson now, after returning the favor of the slap across the face to Pat Rose, Rose seems to find some kind of objection to returning to the ring.
Ricky Gibson, isn't he the brother of that Trick or Treat Express, Robert Duncum?
Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. I used to tell you what, when I was in Louisiana, I used to slap his brother around like it was nothing. So don't tell me this guy here is going to do me any better.
Well, I don't know. Al Madril sitting here watching the match as Pat Rose outside. One thing Al Madril's got to learn is Rick Gibson is going to hear this when he watches this tape.
And I don't think that as Pat Rose is finding out, Rick Gibson is one of the nicest persons you ever want to meet in person, Steve. You know, he's from my hometown, and we've been friends for a lot of years. But he's the kind of guy that as long as he's your friend, everything's okay. You definitely don't want to get him upset, or you don't want to get him mad at you.
Well, Rick Gibson holding on to Pat Rose now. Referee is Todd Johnson. You're watching Southwest Championship Wrestling. Want to invite you out to the arenas. We're coming to all the great cities in Texas, in Ohio, other parts of the country, so watch for it. Southwest Championship Wrestling.
And, of course, when Southwest Championship Wrestling comes, you'll be seeing some of the greatest stars in the world, including Chief Wahoo McDaniel, who is on his way back to the Southwest. He's been signed for a couple of matches. The next week here on TV, we'll be seeing Colonel Buck Robley wrestling live and in person. Bob Duncum will be back with us, and the man that we've been getting so much mail about since last week, the 310-pound Lord Humongous, returns next week here on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Learn how to wrestle. Quit using the fist, boy.
Well, Al Madril is complaining about the fist. Rick Gibson is
What
wrong.
do you have to use the fist for? You see what I'm saying? Now, how come the referee doesn't say nothing about that? Huh? No.
The referee.
Why don't you say anything about
I will say when he throws a fist, I'll tell you he
it? That's
throws
against the rules, isn't it?
You don't break rules.
I never have.
Well, they throw the rule book out the window, I guess.
Well, who can say? Pat Rose now, a hip lock takedown on Rick Gibson. Both men very well schooled in the amateur aspects of the sport. They both wrestled in high school. They both wrestled during their college careers. Rick Gibson, of course, making a very young entrance into the pros. He got a fabulous contract from some wrestling promoters at a very early age. Has been doing quite well all across the country since then. He's been the Georgia heavyweight champion and has held several other regional and national titles in the last couple of years.
Yeah, but he hasn't wrestled Al Madril, and don't forget that, okay? I don't care how tough, collegiate wrestler he is. I could run rings around that kid.
Well, a nice hip toss by Gibson as he cut Rose off the ropes. As Rose got up, Gibson got him with the arm drag, and down he goes.
Well, thus far, Steve, except for the little flare-up of tempers we saw at the beginning of the match, a fairly clean match between Pat Rose and Rick Gibson. Certainly, Rose has shown us that he not only can brawl as his usual tactic, but he knows a lot about the scientific side of the sport as well.
Gibson holding on to the left arm of Pat Rose. Don't forget, Chief Wahoo McDaniel is coming to Southwest Championship Wrestling. Well, it won't be, but just a week or two.
And, you know, when you see Wahoo McDaniel's name on the card, you know that you'll be seeing one of the greatest athletes of all time. And they're all on their way here to the Southwest Championship Wrestling area, including some dynamic new stars that are even now on their way. As a matter of fact, next week we'll take a look at Frankie Lane. We'll take a look at Dusty Woods. Today we saw Hacksaw Higgins. Here's a man who fans that regularly watch our show have never seen before, but a man who carried with him a tremendous reputation from overseas, and as we all can see, certainly lived up to it.
Pat Rose backs away as Gibson pops him with that, just a little jab, you know.
Well, a test of strength with Rick Gibson could be a defeat in itself. Rick Gibson spends countless hours in the gym doing all sorts of training regimens to build up that body strength.
Al Madril, I just saw Pat Rose duck his head between the ropes. It's like he's had enough. He wanted to cool Rick Gibson off.
No. See, you don't understand nothing about wrestling, Steve. At that moment there, he was probably catching his breath. He was a little bit tired. He's using a little psychology. He's trying to get back into things, and then he'll take over in a minute. You'll see what I'm talking about.
That had to be a low blow.
See,
He blocked it from us, but the way Gibson went down, it had to be a low blow.
It certainly wasn't ring psychology, that's for sure. Pat Rose taking advantage of this situation on Rick Gibson, sends him high into the air with a backdrop, and Rose with that arrogant little swagger. I think he thinks he may have the match turned around, Steve.
Well, here he goes. Rose reaches in for the slam. Here he comes bouncing off the rope. Takes that 1, 2, 3 steps and dives in there.
1, 2, 3, Steve. 1, 2, 3. Watch this.
2. That's just a 2 count, Madril.
Well, I think Mr. Rose gave him a little chance. He wants to play with him a little bit more now because he's got him beaten. He knows it.
Pat Rose holding on. Has the knee buried in the back of the neck. Pulls the chin back. Rose not choking. You can see the referee, Todd Johnson, make sure it's not a chokehold.
Well, Pat Rose, as are most professional wrestlers, knows all of the ins and outs of leverage and balance, and he can position his body to put the maximum amount of pressure and the maximum amount of strain on Rick Gibson while holding him at his own disadvantage.
As we check with the official timekeeper here on Southwest Championship Wrestling, you know all our television matches are 1:10 unless we have a special championship match. This match has already been going about 6.5 minutes. They've been battling it out.
Well, two evenly matched stars like Pat Rose and Rick Gibson, many times hard to take a distinct advantage. Rose with a takedown that the referees seem to find just a touch questionable.
Yeah, the referee and you, too, and everybody else listening to this conversation right now, they can't say that Rose is out there and he knocked him down, he tripped him with a good leg lock. But no, you can't say that, Ken. You've always got to find an excuse. Well, we don't look for excuses. Mr. Rose out there is not looking for an excuse, Steve.
Well, Rose is holding on to the chin. Let me tell you something, Madril. Rick and I, we're not professional wrestlers. We're not up here cutting you down. All you've done is cut everybody down, including your own people. Now you want to cut us down. You're cutting down the referees. This is not the Al Madril I've known for years.
Steve, maybe I never let you know that side of me, the smart, intelligent side of me. I sat back here and I watched everybody. I rode with a lot of guys. I rode with Rick Casey. I rode with Chicky Starr. I rode with all these guys. And I learned some of their secrets and what they like to do and how they like to win. And I also have been riding lately with Mr. Rose. So now I know Chicky Starr's secret. I know Casey's secret. And I know this Ricky Gibson's secrets, too. So when I wrestle these guys, it'll be no problem to beat them.
Here comes Rose bouncing off the rope. Oh, no, he doesn't bounce. He gets that foot up there and kicks Gibson down.
Pat Rose, a lot of ring savvy, certainly. Rick Gibson at the disadvantage now. An open, blatant choke on Rick Gibson. And this may be a sign that Mr. Rose is feeling a little bit of frustration. Rose dives in deep. He bars the arm up with a vertical suplex on Rick Gibson.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this match has been going 8 minutes and 30 seconds, which means there's a minute and a half to go as somebody comes up with a big maneuver, put those shoulders down to the mat.
Pat Rose now trying for a second vertical suplex. He's blocked by Gibson. Gibson reverses him, comes up with a suplex of his own.
He got him way up into the lights that time. The shoulders are down, and it's a 2 count. Both men pick him up.
You can start to see the strain of this battle in the face of Rick Gibson and Pat Rose. The sellout crowd here at the Junction today starting to pick up the chant, Rick Gibson, go, Rick, go. And Gibson may have injured himself, didn't quite connect with a drop kick, and came down squarely on the back of his head.
1 minute to go at a time.
Go, Rose, go. Go, Rose, go. Didn't you hear that?
I heard saying Gibson, go.
No. See, listen. Go, Rose, go. See that? They know. The people know.
Go, Rick, go. He's picking it up. We're down under the 1 minute mark as they battle it out. Elbow.
Rick Gibson, after absorbing a tremendous amount of punishment, has found something inside himself to keep fighting back. Rick Gibson's not the kind of guy that gives up in any situation against any kind of competitor.
As we check the clock, there are 30 seconds left in this match. 30 seconds. Gibson picks him up, cradles him in that small package. Oh, and he kicked out.
Several times, Rick Gibson has come heartbreakingly close to ending this match. Both men, this battle nip and tuck all the way. Gibson winding Rose into the ropes, goes in behind, and he's got him.
He's got a chokehold. You see that? That's a chokehold
10
right there.
seconds to go. And now we count him down as Gibson holds on. We're down to 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Will Rose concede? And 1. And there's the bell. There's the bell. The 10-minute time limit has expired. 10-minute time limit has expired.
Steve, I think that Rick Gibson may have thought at the sound of the bell that Rose had submitted, or the referee had ruled he couldn't continue, and Rick Gibson may have thought he won this match.
Well, I think he's going to be surprised when he finds out the time has expired, and he's being told by the referee now that the bell rang because the 10 minutes were up.
Certainly a very potent hold that Rick Gibson had on at the closing of the bell. He was taught that hold by Ken Lucas, the master of the sleeper. No stranger. Wait a minute.
He's wanting 5 more minutes.
It's strictly up to the discretion of the referee. Of course, this match was slated for a certain amount of time. Rose looks like he's begging. Wait a
He
minute.
comes in behind.
Pat Rose attacking Rick Gibson from behind, cut him with the knee, and Rose, a sneak attack. His favorite maneuver, the power slam. Rick Gibson's got to be in trouble now, Steve.
Well, he didn't give him another 5 minutes. He come off that top rope, I believe. Of course, there's no disqualification because the match is already over. Now he's choking.
And certainly Pat Rose is taking full advantage of this. Rick Gibson looks like he may have sustained some kind of injury.
Well, let's just say I hope so. He had no business signing that contract with Rose, but he did, so he's got to pay the
Rick
price.
Casey.
Oh, now look at this. You see that? Now you see what I'm talking about?
Now, wait a minute, Madril. Wait a minute. Madril's trying to come off with his Mexican jacket.
And certainly Rick Casey coming to the aid of his friend against the... Wait a minute. Here come the Maoris from the dressing room. And they catch Rick Casey from behind. Rick Gibson, who just made it back to his feet. And certainly Gibson and Casey need to... Wait a minute, Steve.
Mr. Power Driver is there.
Sweetan got in there, too. What is this, a battle royal or what?
No, they're just trying to even things up. And the odds are certainly even now as Bob Sweetan, Rick Casey, and Rick Gibson take over, trying to drive the Maoris from the ring. And we've got complete and total bedlam here on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Well, it looks like Sweetan.
Where's Bob had no business to get in the ring?
Well, I don't know why the Maoris were out there also, as they still battle. Now the Maoris and Pat Rose.
What happened with Enrique Vera? I was wrestling Pedro Aguayo, and he got involved.
Well, there it is. Rick Gibson, Pat Rose with 10 minutes to draw. Rick Casey and Bob Sweetan were out. Everybody got involved.
Well, neither man wanted to give up after the match, and I'm certain we haven't seen the last of the feud between Pat Rose and Rick Gibson.
Stay tuned, because we'll be back with Mr. Power Driver. Bob Sweetan answers a bell to take on Tug Taylor.
And here we see the battle of a couple of super heavyweights. Bob Sweetan, for years, a tremendous force in the Southwest wrestling area, and against Tug Taylor, a man who matches him almost pound for pound experience. You might have to give the edge to Bob Sweetan.
Well, Tug Taylor is experienced in the ring himself as Sweetan locks up with a side headlock.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to take anything from Bob Sweetan. You're right. His reputation's worldwide, especially with that pile driver he's got. And I'd like to get in the ring with this Bob Sweetan one of these days, too, Steve, because, you know, sure, he's got that pile driver, but he's got to put it on me first to beat me. And that will never happen.
Don't say no. Oh, look at him. That's 285 pounds. Whoa. Tug Taylor up in a hurry.
Taylor may have survived one body tackle, but certainly Sweetan, the master ring psychologist, right back with a maneuver of his own that almost put a pin on this giant Tug Taylor.
Taylor holds on to the head of Bob Sweetan. Like you said, Rick, I think these guys weigh about the same. Tug Taylor holding on to the head of Sweetan. The referee is Travis Martin. You're watching Southwest Championship Wrestling. So, as Taylor continues to hold on, he works him away from the referee because he may be doing a little choking.
Well, Taylor certainly would be an expert at disguising his tactics from the referee. Travis Martin trying to get in the action. Sweetan turns him around in the corner, and now a couple of those sledgehammer forearms on Tug Taylor. Sweetan, a high field throw, and Mr. Pile Driver is on the march. Now, next week here on Southwest Championship Wrestling, more of the great super heavyweights of the sport. We'll be seeing Cowboy Bob Duncum again in action. The Lord Humongous returns, plus Cowboy Frankie Lane. You'll be seeing Dusty Woods and Colonel Buckley Christopher George Robley III.
And maybe if Al Madril has enough guts left to buy that week, he can put his name on a contract.
You talk about a person that's got guts. Look at this blob Sweetan. I'll wrestle that man anytime, any place, anywhere. Of course, my contracts are full right now. I got to get rid of these Mexicans first. But after that, I'd love to wrestle Mr. Blob Sweetan.
Well, Sweetan staggered by Tug Taylor. Boy, that guy's really laid him in there.
Well, Bob Sweetan now finding his presence, catching Taylor with a hard forearm. And Bob Sweetan able to absorb a tremendous amount of punishment. I've seen him absorb holds and blows that would pin or disable any other wrestler, but Sweetan's just that tough, Steve.
Now, as we watch Tug Taylor lay one to the side of the head of
Hey,
Bob.
don't make him invincible. Okay, the man, his reputation is all right. Fine, he is a tough wrestler. But come on, he can be beat too. You know, David and Goliath, remember that happened there? Okay, the same thing can happen with Bob Sweetan.
Well, Madril, I know our time is running down for this hour of excitement, and you've been up here talking about everybody. I don't think you said a nice word about anybody but yourself. These other guys are going to hear this tape.
I hope they do, because I have an open contract, and I'll wrestle any of these guys that I've said anything about. And I've said the right things about the right guys, and you know it.
Not short on words tonight.
Certainly not. Tug Taylor giving it all he's got, but Bob Sweetan catching him by surprise with a hard knee lift. And you can see from Bob Sweetan's face, he's absorbed a lot of punishment in this match. Tug Taylor knows what a win over Mr. Pile Driver would do for his national ratings here on TV, and he's certainly given it all he's got.
Sweetan buries the shoulder into the midsection of Tug Taylor. Sweetan in front. It looks like he might be going for another suplex here, but he's just got him locked up with that face lock.
And Taylor now finding his way out into a long armbar, wrenching across the shoulder of Bob Sweetan, and maybe a closed fist to add a little something to the pressure of that armbar.
Taylor holding on to that left arm of Bob Sweetan as the fans yell for Sweetan to come on, get up. Get out of this one, as you can see the strain and the pain showing on the face of Bob Sweetan.
Two evenly matched men, a classic confrontation of size, and Tug Taylor blocks a right hand from Bob Sweetan. A rapid punch across the back of the head. I may have seen Sweetan's eyes roll just a little bit. And again, right back to the front chancery, but Bob Sweetan firing what you'd have to call an ineffectual right hand against Tug Taylor.
Taylor has him on the ropes. The referee, Travis Martin, says break it off the ropes. Taylor is being counted. He finally breaks.
A half-hearted break at best from Tug Taylor. These two men, they may have met somewhere before. There seemed to be a lot of animosity between the two of them. Certainly, there's been no quarter given or no quarter asked this far on Southwest Wrestling, Steve.
Sweetan with a forearm to the back. Daggers Taylor.
Tug Taylor certainly got his lights crossed on that one as Bob Sweetan goes to the offensive. Another right hand on Tug Taylor. Winds his man into the ropes and a good short forearm to the midsection.
Sweetan goes after Taylor, puts a forearm into the midsection, getting one to the side of the head.
Yeah, you see that? Now even Bob Sweetan, the big international star, has to read it. Look at this. You see how easy he did that? I can do it too.
Taylor going over. He's up on the bottom rope. Now he goes to the middle rope. He's not going to the top. He dives. Sweetan's not there.
Taylor tried for the big splash, but Bob Sweetan was somewhere, knew it was coming now. A couple of boots to the head of Tug Taylor. Sweetan's up, and Sweetan, wait a minute, he's got him set. He's got him posted for the pile driver.
Oh, he got him up. Now Sweetan comes diving in with an elbow. Is he going for the pin? He snatches the leg. 1, 2, 3. It's all over. Sweetan with a pile driver wins it.
Certainly a hard-fought match between both men.
Madril, that's what you said. He'll never get on you.
That's right. I'm sure he'd maybe beat this big guy here, but I'm in shape, Steve. You can see this body here. I'm ready for anybody, anytime, anywhere. You just sign that contract, Bob Sweetan, because after I get rid of the Enrique Veras and all these other Mexican wrestlers, then I want Bob Sweetan, or I want Rick Casey or Rick Gibson. I don't care who, Steve. You make them sign them contracts.
Al Madril.
Well, certainly next week here on Southwest Wrestling, many great stars. For Steve Stack and myself, we'll see you here next week at ringside.
You wrestle Al Madril, baby.